Mr. Rajat claims his wife went on a little adventure while he was away, and then, boom, she's pregnant soon after he returns. He's now demanding a paternity test and a lie detector test to get to the bottom of this baby drama. Stick around, because you're not going to want to miss what comes up next.
Mr. Rajat, you claim your wife had an affair while you were away and got pregnant shortly after you returned home. You argue you have no idea if her child is yours because the timing of her sexual encounters with you is just too close to call. You have petitioned the court for the results of a paternity test, lie detector test, to discover the truth today.
Grab your tissues. This part gets a bit teary. Mrs. King Rajat spills the beans on how her husband's denial of their daughter Destiny is shredding their family vibe. She details the disparities in how he treats their other kids compared to Destiny. You'll want to see how Mr. Rajat wiggles his way out of this one, coming up shortly.
I'm here today to prove to my husband that our daughter Destiny is in fact his, tearing our family apart pieces by pieces because he denies her.
What does he do specifically?
He doesn't interact with her like he does with our other children.
How does he interact with?
Well, he takes them to the park, he plays with them, he watches them, he does everything with them. Homework, everything.
That's a lot.
No, it's not.
You might need a genetics textbook for this next bit. Mr. Rajat is hung up on hair and eye colors, bringing out a family tree diagram to prove his point about Destiny not fitting the mold. Get ready for a family tree shakeup in just a moment.
I may stay distant a little bit, due to my concerns, but I treat her the same as all the
He's
other
lying
children.
right now.
All of my family and her family all have brown hair and brown eyes. Child has blonde hair and blue eyes, and I actually have a diagram together of that for you.
You
to
have a
take look at.
diagram?
Yes.
You're such a fool.
You're a liar.
That's okay, you'll see, you'll see.
Okay.
And here she goes on the defense. Mrs. King Rajat stands her ground, denying any extramarital escapades. She admits to chatting with other guys, but insists it was all above board. Fasten your seatbelts, because Mr. Rajat's reaction is just around the corner.
Have you ever cheated on your husband?
No, I have not.
Never talked to a guy?
I've spoken to a man, yes, but I have never, on my husband, I've never had any sexual nothing.
That's a lie.
No,
That's a lie.
it's not like, you'll see when the lie detector test comes.
My childhood friend that I grew up with more than half of my life, just like I've known her. One time we was at a bar. She had actually sent a text while I was with him saying that they to meet up and go out.
Talk about awkward medical news. Mrs. King Rajat drops a bombshell about contracting an STD while pregnant, pointing fingers at Mr. Rajat's fidelity, or lack thereof. As you reel from that, stay tuned to see how Mr. Rajat scrambles to defend himself.
I was 6 months pregnant with our first child. I went to the doctor for a routine checkup. Nurse told me I had to come in and get some antibiotics because I have an STD. And if I'm not cheating, where else did I get it from?
I don't know. I was calling your phone all night. You're the one not answering.
You're the one that's gonna see.
Every time you call my phone, I pick up. I called all night.
Lie,
You stayed out all
lie.
night long.
Get ready for the main event. The paternity test results are here.
When it comes to 2-year-old Destiny Rajat, Mr. Rajat, you are her father.
The courtroom was buzzing with anticipation as Miss Looper started her tale. Miss Looper recounts her initial impression of Mr. Diaz as a respectable churchgoer and family man, which drastically changed after they started a relationship and she discovered his true character. She describes the early days of their connection, filled with shared interests and activities, which later soured due to trust issues stemming from Mr. Diaz going through her phone. What unfolds next will turn the drama up a notch, so brace yourself.
You say you thought the defendant was a church-going family man. Turned out to be anything but. You claim that after giving birth to your twins, Brayley and Bishop, fathering your baby. Mr. Downs, you say Looper carried on a secret relationship behind your back up until she found out she was pregnant. There is no way you are the father of her twins.
As jaws dropped around the room, the plot thickened dramatically. During the court hearing, Mr. Diaz expresses his disbelief that he could be the father of Miss Looper's twins, citing her ongoing interactions with other men. Miss Looper admits to not completely severing ties with other relationships when they started dating, which fuels Mr. Diaz's doubts about paternity. The situation escalates when Mr. Diaz finds incriminating messages on Miss Looper's phone, leading to a major confrontation and trust issues. Just when you think it can't get more convoluted, the next twist is a real doozy.
I found the perfect family man, but I soon found out that was when we first met. Mr. Downs was amazing. He went to church, and as soon as we talked, our music, everything vibed. It was great. Then we ran into some problems, and I did have a lot of open doors.
Open doors. So you still had other relations you had not quite cut off.
Absolutely. This was 2 weeks after we started hanging out.
Hold on to your seats, because here comes a curveball. The relationship dynamics change significantly after Mr. DS discovers the messages on Miss Looper's phone, impacting their interactions and plans for a future together. Miss Looper reveals she was pregnant shortly after the incident, which temporarily brought them closer again. Despite the turmoil, Mr. DS participates actively during the pregnancy, indicating a temporary reconciliation. If you thought this was wild, just wait until the babies come into the picture.
Into the day you saw the phone. What was going on? How did you even have her phone?
Just something told me to pick up the phone, and I did it. And I'm looking through the phone. I'm like, and I bring it to her, and I'm seeing messages from other dudes and all this other stuff. So I'm like, what is this? Messages are just trying to, hook up with her and like stuff like that. So
Is she accepting the advancement?
Yes, Your Honor. I was in the process of closing those doors.
No, you don't close the door by saying, yeah, we can have sex. That's opening the door.
Here's where things get even spicier. At the birth of the twins, Mr. DS's doubt resurfaces, especially when he sees the lighter complexion of one of the twins, Bray. He requests a DNA test immediately, but shows a connection with the other twin, Bishop, whom he feels resembles him more. This moment highlights Mr. DS's mixed feelings and his struggle between doubt and desire to be a father. Buckle up, because the emotional roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
I just sent him a picture of the pregnancy test.
And what was his response?
I don't remember his exact response, but I just remember him being like nonchalant about it. Like it
I was
wasn't.
at work. Like I said, I've been through your phone. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to jump for joy?
So your
You want me
okay
to...
was already because of what you saw on the
yes,
phone.
ma'am. Feel. I mean, you after I found this out, ain't no way I'm gonna sit here and lips or nothing.
So how does it get to the point where you just leave the okay and doing that? How does it get to that?
I got 3 other children outside of these 2 we're here for today.
As if the story couldn't get any more tangled, another twist unravels. Miss Looper discusses another potential father contacting her after seeing a post-birth picture of Bray, increasing the complexity of the situation. Mr. DS recounts his earlier doubts about Miss Looper's fidelity and the paternity of the twins, exacerbated by her quick assurance that he was the only unprotected partner. This revelation intensifies the paternity doubt and sets the stage for further discord. You won't believe what happens next. Get ready for an emotional showdown.
When the twins were born,
As soon as they brought Brayley into the room, the first thing he said was, "Do you guys do DNA tests here? I've never had a kid come out that light." But he did go see my son, and he did say that he looked like him.
you didn't feel like you could be her father.
I mean, I know it don't really matter about the collection and stuff, but like I said, all my kids favor me, just extremely. I seen more Bishop in me than Brayley, and at the same time, like I said, I know there's another man been involved.
The courtroom was on the edge of their seats, tears and gasps filling the air. Mr. DS explains his deep emotional ties to the hospital where the twins were born, which also holds painful memories of past personal losses. This emotional backdrop adds another layer of complexity to his reaction to the twins' birth and his fluctuating involvement in their lives. The discussion reveals the intertwined feelings of hope, pain, and suspicion that characterize Mr. DS's experiences of fatherhood. The climax is just around the corner, and it's a heartstopper.
As me being a father, like I said, I've never had to deal with any suspicion of any of my other kids. Wondering, okay, well, am I going up here to see somebody else's kids, or am I going up here to support her for her and her other dude's kids, because he needs to be here if that's the case. Same time, I talked to Robin about a situation too. I also lost 2 of my other babies in that very same room that she was sitting, and I told her it's hard for me to deal with that. That's the first thing that goes through my mind, is me losing my other 2 daughters.
As the tension builds to a fever pitch, everyone's waiting for the next bomb to drop. The court session progresses with testimonies about the immediate post-birth period, during which Mr. DS's doubts prevent him from signing the birth certificate. The emotional distance between him and Miss Looper grows, culminating in her decision to move back to California, amid unresolved paternity and trust issues. The truth is about to be revealed, and it's a game changer.
He knows my face, he knows who I am, and Brayley does too, to an extent, but it's just something about son, man, when I see him, and it's like he just...
And you feel this because the twins are fraternal twins, right? So knowing this adds to your belief. Essentially, you're the father of only one.
Yes, ma'am.
This is fascinating.
This is it, the final revelation that will shake the courtroom to its core. The paternity test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Downs, you are not the father.
You won't see this coming. Ms. Woodbury confidently states that her fiancé, Mr. Cage, is the father of their 1-year-old son, Lexington. She details how her reality TV fame complicates their life, forcing her to prove paternity, not only to Mr. Cage, but to an audience of doubters fueled by social media. Buckle up, because the next scene is even juicier.
Ms. Woodbury, you claim you are 110% certain that your fiancé, Mr. Cage, is the father of your 1-year-old son, Lexington. Your reality TV persona persona has put you in the position of having to prove paternity to Mr. Cage, but also all of the naysayers on social media and the world.
This is where it gets spicy. Ms. Woodbury laments how her fun and sexy public image has led to widespread misconceptions and personal challenges. Her life seems more like a scripted drama, influencing how others perceive her private matters. Stick around, because things are about to get even wilder.
It could be not even denying our son, or no matter what I do with my life, someone has an opinion.
And so let's be completely honest. Your public, often you're portrayed as a girl that's fun, carefree, sexy. This entire image, you believe, is now almost kind of backfired in that these people expect you to be something you're saying you're not.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your popcorn. Mr. Cage recounts their Instagram to real-life love story, which took off from a friend's Snapchat recommendation and led to an impromptu meetup that quickly turned intimate. It's a modern-day romance with a fast-forward button. But hold on, the next clip turns up the heat.
You know, I want you to come out, I want you to hang out with me and some of my friends.
You can't bring your friend.
But you can't bring your friend. I got in the Uber, I pulled up to the event, and she just pulled up. Walk into the club, do the walkthrough, and then after that, it was history.
Oh, wait, you said history?
Yeah.
Oh, so what does that mean? So you do the walkthrough.
Yeah.
I invited him back home. He didn't leave after that. He stayed.
Get ready for a curveball. Persistent rumors and gossip continue to cloud Mr. Cage's mind about Ms. Woodbury's loyalty, thanks to their circle of not-so-helpful friends. Each whisper adds more fuel to his fiery doubts, and just when you think it can't escalate further, the next revelation drops.
People were always telling me, they were just like, even some of her co-stars, they were just like, hey, listen, don't trust Kaylee. She's out there. Birds of a feather flock together. So it was just like, oh, if you're hanging out with them, you must be...
So were you out there, Miss Woodbury? Tell what was going on?
I was having fun. I'm 21, I'm having fun. I'm going out dancing, partying. Yeah, I'm partying.
Talk about a plot twist. The plot thickens as Mr. Cage brings up a music artist who bears an uncanny resemblance to him, stirring up the paternity pot even more. This doppelganger dilemma triggers more than a few awkward conversations. But don't wander off. The storyline takes another twist just ahead.
There was a artist and scarily resembles me. It's kind of weird. We resemble each other, and everyone thinks so as well. They talked all the time. She says,
about what?
We don't talk
about
all the time.
What? Music.
I don't know, because I never checked. But the things that he was saying and some of my family members were very disrespectful, and you just brushed it right off.
Are you still with us? Amid growing doubts, Mr. Cage confronts Ms. Woodbury about her relationship with the look-alike artist, questioning the nature of their conversations. Ms. Woodbury stands her ground, insisting it's all innocent. The suspense is building, and you'll want to see what's next.
Do you believe at some point intimate with this guy?
I feel so.
But I've never ever hung out with him outside of, like, without him there.
But you
never ever hung out with the guy.
You've hung out with him prior.
Everyone was around.
These were
and you
multiple
saw,
times.
All
I remember
our
you're
other
telling me that
friends
you're
were there.
always with him.
This relationship with this guy has not always been very, but you're trying to lean into your trust, physical, emotional, sexual connection.
I believe they were 100%.
Things are getting thorny. When their friends suggest a DNA test, the level of mistrust becomes palpable, shaking Ms. Woodbury to her core. This bombshell doesn't just stir the pot, it practically flips it over. Gear up, because the next part is a real game changer.
They're very close to both of us. They're like, you need to get a DNA test. We don't even trust it. So when and I told you specifically that me and this person sat down because she couldn't film. Yeah, you remember that now, don't you? And she told me.
I didn't know about the
She
DNA
told me
thing.
everything. She told me not to trust you, how not to trust you and the guy. She told me all of that. And she told me to watch out.
How will they bounce back? Judge Lake points out that Ms. Woodbury's public image is complicating their personal life and casting doubt on her relationship. The emotional fallout is real and raw. Fasten your seatbelts, because the ride isn't over yet.
What it seems like to me is this public persona was affecting your relationship.
Very much so. Then especially when it's my child, like our child, and you're gonna deny him, like, it hurts, because there are fathers out there that, and they still deny it, and I obviously don't. Like, you could 110% look, that's his, gosh, that's his child.
Can it get any more intense? The focus shifts to whether little Lexington looks more like Mr. Cage or the mysterious music artist. Ms. Woodbury tries to dispel the doubts with a comparison of features. The tension is palpable, and the next moment will have you on the edge of your seat.
Daquan has big eyes. He says he don't. He do. And I got small little eyes. I got colored eyes. Lexington has brown eyes. Naturally, I have blonde hair. I dye it all the time. Pin straight hair.
Ms. Woodbury, I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to say there are certain lyrics in this courtroom that are familiar. When you start singing a song about, and see, says he's got dimples and he's got dimples. He's got an eye and he's got an eye. Right?
Here's the big reveal. The court session reaches its peak as Judge Lake announces the paternity results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Cage, you are the father.
Thank you.
Can you believe this twist? Mr. McCormick starts off by painting a picture of shattered dreams, having once believed he found his dream partner in Ms. Ball, only to later discover her repeated infidelities. He vehemently labels her as a serial cheater, adamant that there is absolutely no chance he is the father of her son Gavin. Let's just say, buckle up, because Ms. Ball's comeback is not to be missed.
You say you thought you found the perfect woman until you discovered the love of your life with just a serial cheater on a rampage. You say Ms. Ball is a shameless adulterer, and there is no way you are her son Gavin's father.
Now, here's where it gets juicy. Ms. Ball, on the other hand, admits to her romantic escapades, but is completely certain that Mr. McCormick is indeed Gavin's dad. She's here to prove paternity and clear the air, standing firm against Mr. McCormick's storm of accusations. And guess what? The courtroom's about to turn up the heat even more.
You admit to having stepped out on your relationship in the past, but you are positive Mr. McCormick, father of your son, you intend to prove paternity today.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. McCormick, what do you mean she's a serial cheater?
This backstory might raise some eyebrows. The judge digs into how their love story began at a seemingly innocent party, which quickly escalated to them moving in together. They reminisce about the good old days with a nostalgic glow, despite the chaos that followed. Just wait, the narrative twists in the next segment are something else.
Nature of your relationship, how did it begin?
We saw each other at a party, and when I first saw him, I was physically attracted to him. And so I started talking to him. I asked him if he wanted to hang out. I said, where can we hang out? And he said, you can go to my house. And we've been together ever since.
All right.
Prepare for a roller coaster of emotions here. Mr. McCormick shares the deep hurt and confusion over possibly not being Gavin's father, his doubts fueled by Ms. Ball's early infidelity. He even brings an exhibit to court to visually prove his claims of her ongoing cheating. And just when you think you've seen it all, the next exhibit really throws a spanner in the works.
It really hurts, because I'm a softie. She cheated early in a relationship, and it just kind of put doubt with it, in my mind throughout.
Gavin, there's no way that could be a bond and not be father and son.
I've even brought some examples.
You brought an exhibit?
I brought an exhibit, Your Honor.
Please step up. Let's review that exhibit.
That cross?
Yes.
Well, Your Honor, this is how you catch a serial cheater.
And it just keeps getting wilder. The exhibit reveals footage of Ms. Ball with another man, which Mr. McCormick interprets as undeniable proof of her betrayal. As he details these supposed clandestine encounters, the courtroom buzzes with anticipation. What comes next? Well, it's a doozy.
I kind of stayed back, and then I was following her. I saw her getting to a truck. Strange guy. He was like 25 years old.
Why would you let me get in that
Okay, strange guy.
That's the strange guy.
Okay.
Truck, I asked her who it was. Said it was another family member, which I know is like 2 years old. He doesn't wear his hat sideways, and
So it was a young guy.
a young guy. Yeah.
And you believe she was cheating.
I mean, what else would you be doing? Why else would she lie about it? And she was actually, before she took off, that's the reason I'd followed her.
This part is a real game changer. Ms. Ball drops a bombshell by admitting to the affairs and the possibility of another man being Gavin's father. This confession is a turning point, revealing the tangled web of their relationship and raising serious questions about paternity. You'll want to see Mr. McCormick's reaction in the upcoming segment. It's quite something.
There was a time I came home from work, and there was a text message on the phone. I picked up the phone, pretended to be Miss Ball, and texted some sexual stuff. They texted back. I texted, can we do the same thing that we did last time we hung out? And he said some things, and that's when the picture of the junk came through. And so I know something was going on.
Brace yourself for his heartfelt response. As the court delves deeper into Mr. McCormick's emotional turmoil, he shares how attached he has become to Gavin, despite his uncertainties about being his biological father. Ms. Ball vehemently argues for the familial resemblance, hinting at deeper emotional ties. The suspense builds as they edge closer to the DNA results reveal.
He's crazy.
That was a lot of information.
He knows Gavin is his
But
child.
you have admitted you said that. I've admitted.
The insecurities that I've created, anything that he can't absolutely find an answer for, it creates doubt.
Once you cheat, now that opens the door where we don't believe nothing you have to say.
It all boils down to this moment. Get ready for a big reveal as the judge announces the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McCormick, you are the father.
Thank you.
Miss Smith and her father, Mr. Wooten, are stepping into the legal ring to prove that Ms. Backus is not Mr. Wooten's biological daughter. Miss Smith asserts that her father is facing severe financial difficulties due to garnished wages for child support payments totaling over $92,000 for a child he believes is not his. This garnishment threatens his financial stability. As the drama unfolds, you won't believe what comes next.
You and your father, Mr. Wooten, are suing to prove Ms. Back is not his biological daughter. You say your dad owes more than $92,000 in back child support for a child who isn't his and is on the verge of losing everything because his income is being garnished by 50% each month to pay off that debt.
The plot thickens with Ms. Backus's bold claim. She insists that Mr. Wooten is indeed her father and expects a DNA test to back her up. She demands an apology from Miss Smith and the rest of Mr. Wooten's family for the mistreatment and doubts they have cast upon her relationship with her father. Strap in, what's coming will definitely stir the pot.
You say that Mr. Wooten is your father, and when the results prove you right, you demand Miss Smith and the rest of your father's family apologize for treating you so poorly. How do you think Miss Backus has ruined your father's life?
Primarily through the actions of her mother by being very deceitful with my father from the very beginning of their relationship.
Here comes a curveball in the narrative. Miss Smith elaborates on the financial and emotional toll the child support claims have taken on her father. Since Mr. Wooten's Social Security payments began, the government has garnished 50% of his income, causing the debt to accrue to over $92,600. Ms. Backus counters by expressing her emotional distress during medical tests in her childhood, feeling abandoned by Mr. Wooten. Hang tight. The next part of their story will add even more twists.
Up until the point that they started garnishing his wage, it was going into arrears, drawing interest, and now is over $92,606.06.
Then he should have showed up when I showed up and when they took blood from me just to have the test. He should have showed up for the test and we wouldn't be here today.
Ms. Backus is saying they drew blood?
Yes, ma'am. I was a young girl when my mama finally decided to have child support papers on him.
Get ready for some eyebrow-raising doubts. Mr. Wooten expresses doubts about his paternity of Ms. Backus, discussing inconsistencies in the timeline of his relationship with Ms. Backus's mother. He suspects financial motives might have influenced her claims, especially since she requested financial help early in their relationship. The revelations in the upcoming segment are about to turn the heat up.
I think about 2 months after we've been together, she said she was pregnant. 4 months after we was together, we broke up.
Well, Daddy, you and Mama got two different stories, and I'm coming to find out today.
Because Miss Daniels is a liar.
So, Mr. Wooten, you're saying the relationship was 4 months long?
Once she was 4 months pregnant with her, I realized that most of the things that she was only interested in, me helping her financially. And one of the first things she asked me 1 month after we was together.
As if the waters weren't muddy enough, further details of Mr. Wooten's brief relationship with Ms. Backus's mother are revealed, including conflicting stories about the duration of their relationship and the circumstances surrounding Ms. Backus's conception. This adds to Mr. Wooten's doubt about being the father. The courtroom is about to get even more heated, so keep your eyes peeled.
And she told me you had said that you wanted another child.
Yeah.
That's what was told to me. But you're telling me something different, so that's why we're here today.
When I met your mother 3 weeks into knowing her, she wanted to know why.
She told me together a whole year, and then I was born a year later. I'm not even feeling nothing that y'all saying right. That's why I brought y'all here, and we finna find out the truth.
Adding a sprinkle of 21st century drama with social media. Ms. Smith discusses how social media has complicated family dynamics, showing evidence of Ms. Backus claiming familial ties based on social media interactions and public posts that deepen the familial dispute. The evidence that's about to be thrown down next is pure gold. Don't miss it.
Her kid found me on Facebook a couple of years ago, was praising me. I'm glad. Ooh, we found out. Oh, you the lost child.
And Miss Backus sent me a Facebook request, and I accept because I did know her. After I accepted the friend request, then she would post up pictures online. Don't me and my sister look just alike? No, we do not. We don't look alike.
That's a picture at my granny's funeral.
And it says, gotta love your siblings.
Emotions are hitting the ceiling. As tensions rise, Ms. Backus and her family members make emotional appeals about their relationships and past interactions. Accusations of deceit and misunderstanding are thrown between family members, highlighting the deep emotional and social complexities involved in the case. The next moment is going to drop some serious bombshells. Brace yourselves.
I am holding up a birth certificate. True enough, my mama was wrong for handwriting it in because he was not there when I was born. He came later. She wrote it in because she know who her baby daddy is. One thing my mama
let me see this evidence. This is your birth certificate?
That was my birth certificate. But when I filed for my new one, it came up blank on his name. That means she wrote it in. Yeah, my mama probably look crazy for making a crazy move, but she know who her father is.
The moment of truth is upon us. The judge reads the DNA test results, which reveal that
Alondria Backus, Mr. Wooten Jr., you are not her father. I know this was not the answer you were expecting.
No, it wasn't, but I had to do it. I had to do it.
Yes, you did.
I was tired of being treated. So now I know why I got treated like I am, and I'm good.
Can you believe this start? Miss Gregory spills the tea that the defendant, Mr. Elston, called quits on their engagement just 2 weeks back, doubting the paternity of their son, Carson. She's pushing for a DNA test to prove Mr. Elston is the daddy in hopes of patching things up. Mr. Elston and his sister, however, are betting on a different father, suspecting Miss Gregory's ex instead. Buckle up, because this is just the warm-up.
You say just 2 weeks ago the defendant called off your engagement due to paternity doubts surrounding your son Carson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove Mr. Elston is the father and hope the result will save your family.
The plot thickens here. Miss Gregory is all about saving her family, stressing how her kids, Carson, and the one on the way need their dad around. She walks us through their May engagement and how the paternity debacle led to their recent split. Mr. Elston shares his side, stirred up by rumors of Miss Gregory's cheating, complete with sightings of her ex. The tea is piping hot and there's more brewing.
So, Miss Gregory, how important is it to save your family?
It's very important for me to save my family because I feel that my kids, both of them, my unborn child and Carson, deserves. And I feel that we got engaged in May. He broke up with me 2 weeks ago because of paternity issues. So I feel that we need to get this all cleared up.
Now it gets juicy. Mr. Elston dives into his trust issues, fueled by chatter about Miss Gregory's alleged affairs, which he personally investigated while out of town. His sister backs him up, claiming she caught the ex's truck parked at Miss Gregory's spot. Miss Gregory counters, puzzled over which truck they're even talking about, given her apartment complex parking situation. Strap in, the roller coaster of accusations is just getting started.
It was, people calling me and texting me, telling me that she's cheating or either somebody's in the driveway. I work out of town. I'm like, I do stuff like I send people over there to check on just to make sure she's not doing nothing. And multiple people told me that they caught her ex in the driveway, caught his car there.
Your Honor, I'm actually the one who caught her ex in the driveway. My brother was out of town. He's a hard-working man.
Oh, the drama unfolds. The court digs into how Miss Gregory and Mr. Elston first connected while both were still playing the field with others. Soon after their first rendezvous, bam, pregnancy hits, complicating their not-so-fairy tale. Watch how this tangled web they weaved gets even knottier in the next bit.
How this relationship stopped?
Me and Mr. Elston met through my ex at a basketball game. I was dating.
Through your ex?
I was dating my ex and he was cheating on me at the time, so I felt comfort in Mr. Elston. He had a girlfriend also. We started sleeping together 2 weeks after we met, and then I got pregnant like almost a month later.
And at that time, were you and Mr. Elston boyfriend and girlfriend, or were you still just cheating on your ex?
You won't want to miss this episode. Amid an emergency C-section, Mr. Elston throws a curveball by doubting the newborn Carson's paternity because he looked too white to be his. Despite earlier wanting to pass on his last name, he bails, leaving Miss Gregory in a lurch. The saga of trust issues is far from over, folks.
Was Mr. Elston at the hospital?
He came to the hospital the second day. I had to have an emergency section, so I was in the hospital for 5 days. He came the second and begged for me to give Carson his last name. You cannot give my son your last name right now.
No, Your Honor, I was in the hospital all happy, because I was expecting to be my first child. Like, I walked in all happy and we sit down, take a picture, and I looked at him
Your
real
exact
closely.
words was, he's too white.
And
That's exactly what he said.
And they're back at it. 3 weeks post-birth, Mr. Elston pops back into the picture, leading to an engagement. Just when you think they're on the mend, bam! Doubts about the new baby stir up a fresh batch of drama. The plot's about to thicken, so keep your eyes peeled.
3 weeks after I had Carson, he started coming around more. So we ended up getting into a relationship, got engaged, and we was doing good. And then I got pregnant in June. I'm pregnant now, and he just doubts this baby, and more doubts are coming up from Carson. He's asking me for an unborn DNA test and stuff because he doesn't trust me.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be any doubt.
Things like what?
She's actually posted a picture with another dude around the time she was supposed to be pregnant by my brother.
Hold on to your popcorn. Courtroom confessions turn the case on its head, with Miss Gregory admitting to liaisons with other men during critical times. The thread of fidelity unravels with every text and post, climaxing with a spicy revelation of a Valentine's Day threesome. Next up, the moment we've all been waiting for, DNA results.
The friend says, have you talked to Carly today? You say no, why? Friend says she has some guy over here with her in the living room. You text back, are they hugged up or anything? And she texts back, yes. Was this the ex that she saw you hugged up with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she posted a picture on her ex's birthday in March. Everybody have sex on somebody's birthday, so I'm not gonna sleep together.
Brace yourself for the big reveal. The DNA verdict drops like a bomb.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Elston, you are not the father. I'm sorry, Mr. Elston, you are not Carson's biological father.
Buckle up, folks, here we go. Judge Lake begins with a heavy dose of reality, summarizing Ms. Rayford's claim. After Mr. Freeman convinced her to have his child, he abruptly ditched her to return to his fiancée and started denying the paternity of her 8-month-old son, Terry. What's Mr. Freeman's side of the story? Let's find out.
You say that after begging you to have his child, Mr. Freeman abruptly left your relationship, returned to his fiancée, and started denying your baby.
Yes, it is.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Ms. Rayford confirms the messy situation. Mr. Freeman counters, dismissing Ms. Rayford as just a brief fling and accuses her of playing the field, adamant that there's no chance he could be Terry's father due to her liaisons with other men during their time together. The plot thickens. What will the judge say to that?
You say Ms. Rayford was nothing more than a who is now obsessed with you and your fiancée, Ms. Triplett. You claim that during your brief time, Rayford, she was sleeping with multiple men, and there is no way you are her son's father.
Correct, Your Honor.
You won't believe your ears. Things heat up as the conversation escalates rapidly, causing Judge Lake to step in as the courtroom bursts into laughter and exclamations from the audience. Ms. Rayford asserts her hope that Mr. Freeman will recognize Terry as his son and take responsibility. Hold on to your seats because this roller coaster is just getting started.
Ever since he got with this Miss Triplett.
Hold on, first of all, hold on. Ladies. All right, I'm awake now. That erupted from 0 to 100 in less than 1 second. Let's bring it down a notch.
I just want the world to know today that this is his son, so he can step up and be the man he needs for his first child, his son, Terry Michelle, and the name needs to be changed to Freeman.
Can this get any more intense? Ms. Rayford makes a heartfelt plea for Mr. Freeman to connect with his son, highlighting Terry's lovable nature and Mr. Freeman's responsibility as a father. Meanwhile, Mr. Freeman continues to deny paternity, highlighting his reluctance to accept responsibility. Just wait till you see what's next. More fireworks ahead.
This woman dictates to you about to be there for your son. You like to clown? Your son will love it. He loves to laugh and play. Play with him and not me. He knows he's a father. It's not an issue of paternity. It's an issue of him being responsible.
As the tension soars, Judge Lake shows some heart. She allows Ms. Rayford to express her frustration, offering a sympathetic ear to her plight. Ms. Rayford's anguish is evident as she insists on Mr. Freeman's paternity, despite his persistent denials and minimal involvement in Terry's life. Fasten your seatbelts. The courtroom's about to explode.
Why you're upset, and I'm letting you kind of scream it out because I can see how frustrated you are.
I am. I really am.
I want to hear from Mr. Freeman. Being irresponsible to this child, is this because you do not believe Terry is your biological son?
I don't believe he's my son. I tried multiple times to come to Trina's house and stuff. I brought things for the child, you know what I'm saying? And she's neglecting me. I don't need your stuff.
Hold the phone. Here's where it gets wild. The debate over Mr. Freeman's occasional contributions to Terry's upbringing sparks a fiery exchange between Ms. Rayford and Ms. Triplett, filled with accusations of jealousy and dishonesty. Judge Lake has to jump in again. The next part, you guessed it, more bombshells.
Oh, you jealous. You wish that was your son, huh?
How can I be
you
jealous?
wish that was son, huh? You
Miss
remember them tears you cried?
Miss Rayford.
How can I be jealous?
Miss Rayford, focus on.
The only thing I refused was on this particular day, he was saying that he had came by and he had bought a few items for the baby.
So in your mind, when he brought those things, he was accepting Terry. He was for the baby.
Yeah, he had been accepting Terry. He was there at the hospital. He said, yeah, he looks just like that. I acknowledge it's my son. Your Honor.
Let's add a twist to the tale. Ms. Rayford details her complex relationship timeline with Mr. Freeman, recounting how they met through a dating site, navigated overlapping relationships, and the circumstances leading to Terry's conception. Claims both Mr. Freeman and Ms. Triplett dispute. Up next, the drama reaches new heights.
We met in December on a dating site. It was New Year, and I wasn't expecting a baby and all these out of the situation. So I picked him up, and we hung out, brought in New Year's. We had a good time. I came from California to Memphis. When I came to Memphis, I met, and I probably should have went with the first, but he was the second one.
Hang on, there's more to unpack. As Ms. Rayford stands firm on her pregnancy story, Mr. Freeman and Ms. Triplett cast doubt on the timeline and validity of her claims, adding layers of complexity to Terry's paternity saga amid their ongoing relationship issues and Mr. Freeman's dealings with both women. Brace yourselves. The revelations just keep coming.
Your Honor, she was not pregnant before she went to California.
Okay, stop. Now this is where it gets in. Were you with Mr. Freeman during the time that in February?
Yes, ma'am.
You all had started dating and having sex.
Yes.
Rayford, when you went to California, you were already pregnant.
I never saw proof that she was pregnant.
She never told you she was pregnant.
Never told me.
You think that was wild? Check this out. The DNA results are finally revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Freeman, you
Are not. Keep hope alive, but you're wrong today.
You are the father.
Buckle up, because Miss Lee is here to drop some major bombshells. She's in court to prove that Mr. Green fathered her 3-year-old son, Kingston, despite his persistent denial ever since she announced her pregnancy. This is just the warm-up, folks. Things are about to get even wilder.
You have come to court today with one goal in mind: to prove to Mr. Green fathered your 3-year-old son, Kingston. Mr. Green has denied your son from the moment you got pregnant, but today his denial will end.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Mr. Green throws a curveball by accusing Miss Lee of having a sugar daddy who he claims is the real dad, sparking gasps and murmurs from the audience. Trust me, the plot thickens, and you're gonna want to see what happens next.
You say you know exactly who Kingston's father is, and it's not you. It's Miss Lee's sugar daddy, who's more than twice her age.
Did someone say drama? Miss Lee recounts her endless attempts to get Mr. Green involved in their child's life, met with nothing but denials and excuses. She's fed up and isn't shy about letting everyone know. The courtroom is heating up, and it's about to boil over.
Mr. Green has been denying my child since day one. He's been denying him for 3 years. He has never came around like he's supposed to. I have to call. I have to do so much to get this man in my child's life. But at the end of the day, I just want him to step up.
And Kingston is 3 years old.
Kingston's 3. He just turned 3 June 3rd.
So
and he didn't do nothing for his birthday.
I try to meet her halfway, but her attitude...
My attitude has nothing to do with you stepping up for your child.
Hold on to your seats, because this ride is getting bumpier. Despite his doubts about being the father, Mr. Green admits he's tried to reach out and even agreed to a DNA test, though he paints a picture of a rocky, non-committal relationship history with Miss Lee. Stick around. There's a twist in the tale just around the corner.
No, I try to meet her halfway as far as, taking the DNA test and things like that. But at the point me and her was talking back and forth, we was never in no steady relationship. She knew I had a girlfriend already. She tried to break me up from that, and I told her...
He moved into my home. So if I try to break him up, why are you in my home?
She knew I had a girlfriend. She even tried to call
He knew he had a girlfriend, so it's probably...
She knew it too.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
You can cut the tension with a knife. In a jaw-dropping move, Miss Lee reveals she woke Mr. Green from his sleep with a phone call to his girlfriend to announce her pregnancy. The courtroom is buzzing, and just when you think you've heard it all, there's more to come.
How did you explain to your girlfriend you lived in the house with Miss Lee?
Oh, he couldn't. I called her.
She did.
Oh!
From his phone. So, yeah, I snuck, called the girl, woke him out his sleep and made him start talking, and didn't let him know she was on the phone until the end of the conversation. Yeah, your dude over here, and I'm pregnant.
Whoa.
What it is.
In your mind, you knew you weren't really in a relationship with him, but you thought trying to play both sides.
Right.
As if this courtroom couldn't get any more electrified, Judge Lake scrutinizes a scandalous Facebook post by Miss Lee, questioned by Mr. Green as evidence of her flirtatious behavior. But the fireworks aren't over. There's another bomb about to drop.
Who out here got the best D and talking about other men, stuff like that.
Wait, you got...
John, I got evidence right here.
Let me see this evidence, Jerome.
Oh, he just seen...
You submitted to the court Facebook post from Ms. Lee that say, is it wrong to have choices on men all on the first day just in case the D ain't good? Just asking.
Oh, that's a question.
And you submitted another question, raise of hands.
Oh, the irony. Miss Lee openly admits to going to great lengths, including romantic entanglements, just to get Mr. Green to spend time with Kingston. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? Keep watching, because this soap opera isn't over yet.
I can count on my hands how many times he has seen his child. How I made him come, we end up sleeping in a hotel together. You know what I'm saying? So he can watch his child. I mean, I'm trying to make him be a father.
So you're at the point that you've even had to sleep with him?
Right.
That's not true, Young.
You got a smirk on your face, Mr. Green.
Because he knows.
No, because I went over there, but we didn't do nothing.
We did something.
Guess what? There's a sugar daddy in the mix. And no, it's not as scandalous as it sounds. Miss Lee clarifies that her long-term financial benefactor hasn't been a romantic partner. Just when you think you've seen it all, the stakes get even higher.
So you do have a sugar daddy?
Yeah, I got me a good sugar daddy. My sugar daddy been there for 10 years, never ever left my side. I would never leave him. He come way before this. He might want some pictures. But pictures and something else is totally, sex and pictures are totally different. So yeah, I send pictures.
Don't look away now. The back and forth over DNA testing continues, with accusations flying faster than a speeding bullet. Both parties blame each other for stalling, making this legal tango more tangled by the minute. The climax is near, and it's doozy.
Sounds like to me, you all doing a whole bunch of nothing. It doesn't take this long to get a DNA test.
What he wanted me to do was pay. I felt like we both had him pay half, I pay half. But they ain't got
But it just feels like, both of you all going back and forth. It's like a power play. After Kingston wants some papa play.
Yeah.
He want a daddy.
And here it is, the moment of truth everyone's been waiting for. Judge Lake delivers the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Green, you are the father.
I told you! Look at him! Look at him!
Can you believe we're actually starting this? The case Puckett vs. Macon kicks off with Ms. Puckett claiming Mr. Macon fathered her child while juggling a relationship with his current girlfriend, Ms. Glover. Ms. Puckett demands a DNA test to establish paternity, asserting that both kids from these tangled relationships are named Stephen Macon Jr. Just when you think it can't get more complex, keep watching.
Ms. Puckett, you claim the defendant, Stephen Macon, fathered your child while in a relationship with his current girlfriend, Ms. Glover. You claim you can prove he got you pregnant at the same time, and now you both have 2-year-old children named Stephen Macon Jr. You're asking the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Macon is the biological father of your 2-year-old son.
Did that exchange really just happen? Mr. Macon counters Ms. Puckett's allegations, suggesting she's a veteran at this, with multiple children by different fathers, yet he denies being one of them. He acknowledges a past fling with Ms. Puckett, but insists they used protection, albeit unsuccessfully. This sequence lays bare Mr. Macon's shaky defense amidst the convoluted saga. Brace yourself, the plot thickens even more from here.
She got 5 kids by 5 different baby dads.
And you could be the 6th.
No, we didn't have sex till like 3 months after. I wouldn't even have sex.
But you did have sex
me
with her.
and my Miss Glover, we wasn't together at the time.
Did you use protection?
Yes, before we even had sex. 3 weeks after I met her, she got my name tattooed on her neck.
You got his name tattooed on your neck 3 weeks after
We ain't
you
even
met
had
him?
sex yet.
No.
Talk about a curveball. In a pivotal moment, Ms. Puckett whips out a photo as proof of Mr. Macon's involvement during her pregnancy, capturing him affectionately caressing her belly. Confronted with the image, Mr. Macon awkwardly confirms it's him in the photo. This evidence flies in the face of his earlier denials. You'll want to stick around. The surprises keep coming.
He was rubbing on my belly like he was happy and he was concerned about it. And I have a picture of him rubbing on my belly when I was about 7 months.
Let me see that picture. Jerome, will you hand it to me, please? Is this you? Mr. Macon, are those your hands and your jacket? So what do you have to counter this evidence that Ms. Puckett is presenting?
It's not my child. Sleeping around with a whole lot of people. I know it.
Proof of that. Did you bring the court anything?
Now this is where it gets juicy. As the courtroom drama escalates, a deeper dive into the relationship dynamics and the backstory of naming the children is unveiled. Mr. Macon sends confusing messages to Ms. Puckett, hinting at a future together if the paternity test is positive. This scene ratchets up the emotional stakes, showcasing Mr. Macon's conflicting narratives. Don't go anywhere. It's about to hit the fan.
Before we came to court, he sent me a message. Would you like to see that? He sent me a message off of Facebook saying that if it was his, that we all was gonna move in together.
Oh.
Her baby and my kids, we all gonna move in together if it was his. Then he sent me another one, said if it was his, it come out to be his, that we was gonna make love to the sunrise.
If he is, like I said, I'll apologize to him.
Who knew court could be this chaotic? Ms. Glover takes the stand, adding her twist to the tale. She recounts her own detective work and confrontations, painting Mr. Macon as less than truthful. This segment underlines the messy, interwoven relationships and the emotional turmoil bubbling among all involved. Next up, the tension reaches a boiling point.
I said, I hear you. I said, open the door. Next thing I know, I click lock. That she didn't hit the lock. She got smart because I was about to walk up in there, but she got smart. I don't need no case. So she hit the lock. I'm like, I hear you in there. You might as well come out here. So you're not answering the door. I already know what it is. So I go back out to the car. He looking nervous because he don't know what happened.
You went to confront her.
Yes, as a woman. Because a man gonna lie. I feel like he can get away with it. A man gonna lie.
So you went to figure out from him.
Because I didn't hurt her name. You know what I'm saying? I knew we was going through things.
And now for the grand finale. The climax hits with the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Macon Sr., you are his father.
Buckle up. This is a wild start. Ms. Wilson brings us into the chaos immediately after her son's tragic death a month ago, with a whole lineup of women claiming he fathered their children. She's pretty convinced these claims are more about cashing in on Social Security benefits than genuine paternal connections. You won't believe how this spirals.
Ms. Wilson, your son died tragically just 1 month ago. You say that since then, a flood of women have come forward with claims that he fathered their children. You believe they are trying to pin their children on your son in an effort to get Social Security.
Things are heating up now. Ms. Felix and Ms. Brown drop a bombshell of confidence, claiming with no doubt whatsoever that Ms. Wilson's late son is definitely the daddy of their kids, eyeing those survivor benefits like a treasure chest. They're 100% sure, and so the plot thickens. Just watch how the tension builds from here.
You both state that you are 100% sure that Mrs. Wilson's deceased son, Mr. Marquette Dames, is the biological father of your children and are fully entitled to survivor's benefits.
Here comes a heart-wrencher. Ms. Wilson dives deep into the tragic details of her son's demise, laying bare her soul and her struggles. She's on a quest for truth amidst a sea of paternity claims, seeking closure in a situation that seems to keep her from finding peace. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
When they took him, they took a part of me too. They ripped my heart out. I just buried him July 30th. It's not easy for me as a mom losing a son, and I just want to know who's his kids, who's not his kids, because everybody's talking about they got kids, and I only want to know so I can have closure for myself.
Can anyone keep up with this? With a staggering revelation, we learn that not one, not two, but 11 women are staking their claim as the mother to her son's children. The audience can barely handle it, and frankly, neither can we. But stick around, it gets even juicier.
It's 11 people. We're talking 11 kids here. So,
oh my goodness.
It's not just these two young ladies, you know. It's other women that's like literally inboxing me.
How old is your child?
My child is 2.
And Miss Felix, how old is your child?
3.
Grab some popcorn, this is getting good. Mrs. Felix lays it all out, painting a picture of a loving relationship with the deceased, who was deeply involved throughout her pregnancy. She's baffled by Ms. Wilson's sudden doubts. What comes next will have you on the edge of your seat.
Was Marquette a part of your child's life?
Yes, he was a complete part of her life. He was there when I was pregnant. He made sure I was doing right while I was pregnant. Was the one providing me the food. He went to every doctor's appointment. He was there throughout the whole thing. She also knew about it. She used to come to my house. We used to play cards, you know, and hang out. So we were in a serious relationship.
So are you wondering now why she's questioning the paternity?
I don't understand why someone do all the things you did for my daughter and then be questioning her paternity.
You thought it was dramatic already? Well, hold on to something, because Ms. Wilson just turned the drama dial up to 11. She spills the beans about her son's secret doubts regarding the paternity of several kids kept under wraps till now. The next part? It's a doozy.
My son confided in me, and I promised my son I wouldn't say anything. Before my son died, we was talking for the past 6 months before he passed away. He had doubt about several kids. Her baby was one. Darielle baby was the next one. He told me not to say anything to anybody about it, so I kept it a secret between him and I.
Fasten your seatbelts. Here's where it gets rough. Ms. Wilson accuses Ms. Felix and Ms. Brown of rushing to the Social Security office even before her son's funeral arrangements were set. It's a low blow full of grief and accusation, and the atmosphere is charged with emotion. The confrontation is far from over.
Before he even got buried in the ground, called the Social Security office to get claims. He wasn't even in the ground. Funeral arrangements wasn't even ready. They wasn't even put in place. And these two did that. I didn't hold it against them. I didn't hold it against them at all. At the end of the day, it's my child. They didn't care about my grief at that present time. They didn't care because it was all about the money to them. It's not all about him.
Just when you think it couldn't get more heated, Ms. Wilson and the alleged mothers go head-to-head in an explosive confrontation about actions taken right after her son's death. Accusations fly like arrows in a battlefield of words. What happens next will definitely raise some eyebrows.
I'm a very emotional person right now. I have not grieved my son since he died. I'm trying to deal with other stuff. I just want to know who kid, who not. My son gone. They got their kid. Okay, I'm missing a child. That's wrong, you know what I'm saying? I'm just only trying to find out the truth.
Miss Felix, does Marquela know her daddy's missing? She's used to seeing him. Has she asked for him?
Every day.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, like the final scene of a thriller. The DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. James is the father.
Here's where the plot thickens. Ms. Jasmine Degree, supported by her fierce mom, throws a curveball by claiming her life took a major turn at age 9 when she learned that Mr. Little might be her real dad. Mr. Little is adamant that he's not the father, confidently asserting 100% certainty. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, the next scene will knock your socks off.
Ms. Degree, you say your whole world changed when you were just 9 years and your mother revealed to you that your dad was not biological father. Mr. Little was your father, yet claimed he's denied you ever since. Say you are 100% certain you are not her father. You were intimate with her mother. You are certain it was months before she became pregnant.
You won't believe this one. At just 11 years old, Ms. Degree bravely reached out to Mr. Little, seeking answers about her dad, only to be hit with a "we need a DNA test" response. The audacity, but hold tight, because what comes next will really stir the pot.
When I was 11, and I told them who I was, who my mother was, and what I believe. He don't know, he need a DNA test, he don't think so, and...
Mr. Little, you told an 11-year-old needed a DNA test?
Yes, I did.
Straight to an 11-year-old?
Yes, I did.
Talk about awkward family calls. Mr. Little recalls the baffling phone call from young Jasmine, his confusion palpable as he pushed for a DNA test without a second thought to her feelings. As the tension builds, get ready for the emotional temperature to rise even further.
We need to take a test to find out.
Did you know who she was?
No, I didn't know who she was. This is my first time seeing her. I ain't know nothing about her.
And so you just decided just to talk about a DNA test with a child?
All right, she said, no, you my father.
She said, you are my father.
I don't believe I said that.
You said, my mother told me you're my father. I don't know if you is or you're not.
Here comes the drama queen. Ms. Felicia Degree doesn't hold back her fury toward Mr. Little for dismissing her daughter's phone call, questioning his empathy and maturity or the apparent lack thereof. Fasten your seatbelts. The turbulence is just picking up.
My brother said, is this don't be my nephew or niece? It ain't your brothers. I'm
Well, if she told you that, then
funny. You don't.
Why do you trying to
Hold up.
Why you trying to
You can cut the tension with a knife. Mr. Little pulls out a calendar from 2 decades ago, hoping to prove his non-paternity with dates and times. As the courtroom gasps, brace yourself, because the bombshells just keep dropping.
I do my homework. I do my homework.
What you did is you created a calendar.
Exactly.
To illustrate.
I created a calendar to illustrate, but
You say you saw Mr. Degree in November.
we messed around.
And she told you she was 1 month pregnant at that time.
Yes, she did.
Now it gets really juicy. The debate heats up over child support garnishments that led Mr. Little to demand a DNA test. His skepticism about his fatherhood status sparks fiery exchanges. Stay tuned, as the next testimony is a real jaw-dropper.
And they tried to get in contact with her for a DNA test. She never showed up. And I paid for 2 tests. They never showed up.
That $20
They would have wanted their money. No, they would have wanted their money, so they would have made sure that you got a.
It's a legal maze. Mr. Little describes his fruitless attempts to clear his name through DNA tests that never happened because no one else showed up. As the plot thickens, the next piece of the puzzle is just around the corner.
You two didn't show.
Well, I was in a whole nother state.
You ever notified that this hearing was going to exist when you were asked to give a name? Only his name or multiple
I gave
people?
Cannon Little name.
It should have been multiple names.
Grab your popcorn for this sibling support. Corey Degree steps up big time, sharing how he watched his sister struggle with identity and belonging due to their father's mystery. With emotions running high, the next moment is definitely a tearjerker.
To see what was going on.
That was for child support.
It wasn't for child. I still need to know.
You said
I said it, but we still need to know.
And so, if you knew for certain she was your daughter,
She'd have been right there with me. Like I got her like my kids have been. You know, I would have took her in just like my kids, showed her my family.
And here it is, the moment of truth. DNA results are in.
Mr. Little, you are her father.
This is my father.
You won't believe what just went down. The plaintiff, Ms. Allen, steps into the courtroom and drops a bombshell, claiming Mr. Levant, the defendant, is actively denying paternity of their 6-month-old daughter in an attempt to keep their affair under wraps. She's here to blow the lid off that secret and prove that he is indeed the father, all while the courtroom hangs on every word. The drama is just getting started. Get ready for a wild ride.
Ms. Allen, you were in court today claiming the defendant, Mr. Levant, is denying your 6-month-old daughter, Layla, only because he's desperate to try to your affair with him a secret. You're here to expose that secret and prove paternity. Mr. Levant, you and your girlfriend say you know you are not the biological father of the child in question and will prove your claim today in court.
Here's where it gets spicy. The audience can't believe their ears when Ms. Allen counters accusations about her baby's complexion, suggesting racial biases are at play in the paternity denial. The room is charged with tension as this moment amplifies the personal and complex social dynamics of the case. Buckle up. The next scene is even more intense.
The baby don't look like him.
That baby too light.
The baby do not too light. Just because I have to like, and he don't want to break up his happy home with his girlfriend.
So you believe this is all about the girlfriend?
Yes.
Mr. Levant, are you denying because you're trying to keep your relationship with your girlfriend?
No.
So you have a family together, you and your girlfriend?
Yes.
So there's a lot at stake here. You have children?
Yes,
we do.
How many?
3.
You have 3 children?
Yes.
Things are heating up now. During a fiery exchange, Ms. Allen and Mr. Levant's current partner, Ms. Lanier, clash over the nature and duration of Ms. Allen's relationship with Mr. Levant. Accusations about one-night stands and longer liaisons are thrown around, challenging each other's version of events with no holds barred. Stay tuned, because the arguments are about to get even juicier.
So wait a minute.
You tried to break up a happy home. You knew we had 3 kids together for the longest. You've been commenting on my profile.
No, I was there because I was telling you to keep him away from me.
No, let's get some order because I want to understand this story. Did you know Mr. Levant had a girlfriend and 3 children when you were sleeping with him?
No.
Was it just a one-night stand?
No, it wasn't.
You commented on my firstborn
together,
child.
like I said, we was together.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Ms. Allen whips out a calendar as her ace, pinpointing the exact date of her rendezvous with Mr. Levant, which she claims led to her pregnancy. The judge scrutinizes this claim, while Mr. Levant dismisses the dates, thickening the plot with skepticism and disbelief. Don't blink. You won't want to miss what's coming up next.
In 2015, what happened? You were in long-distance phone relationship.
I came to Atlanta in 2015 for my vacation. We meet up. We did what we did.
But you contacted me in that week.
We did what we did in 2015, and I got the proof. But you know that when we did it.
You have proof?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. So on this calendar, you claim you were intimate with Mr. Levant on the 27th of December.
Yes.
Hold on to your seats. Amidst swirling accusations, Ms. Lanier asserts that Ms. Allen was involved with another man, Mr. Mitchell, right before her alleged encounter with Mr. Levant, muddying the waters of paternity further. As Ms. Allen admits to the fling but reaffirms Mr. Levant's paternity, the storyline twists with added layers of complication and doubt. The courtroom drama escalates, so keep watching. The revelations are going to be explosive.
You are saying that Ms. Allen was intimate with another man somewhere during this timeline. Can you tell the court where?
In the park.
It was not at the park.
I mean, at what? I did not mean a location. I meant where within the timeline.
You had sex with Mr. Mitchell a day before you had sex with Mr. Levant.
Now here's a game changer. Ms. Allen presents a string of text messages where Mr. Levant allegedly acknowledges his role as the father, calling himself daddy. This crucial piece of evidence could turn the tide in the paternity debate, challenging his denials head on. The atmosphere is electric. Wait till you see the DNA results that are about to flip the script.
This is a series of text messages between the two of you?
Yes.
Text messages?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, happy Valentine's Day, Lily.
Lele.
Daddy loves you. Happy Valentine's Day to you, Carlisha. Then you send a picture of
Layla.
Layla. And then he says, Mr. Levant says, what's she doing? And then you say, looking around.
Everyone in the courtroom is on the edge of their seat. The moment of truth arrives, with the DNA test results that conclusively show.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Levant, you are not the father.
Yes!
Wait.
Yes.
Sally?
He's the only man I slept with though.